Alright, Bonehawks, this video is all about the Bonehawk podcast. Back for another week. This week we're going over combo breaker pools. Of course, reading comments like always, and some Combat League updates. But yeah, we mentioned it during the podcast. There will be no podcast next week because I'll be a combo breaker. But we're going to talk about that right now. So before I get too far into it, let's get into it. Super smooth. You're really good at your job.
Accept your death.
Another week, another podcast, and as always, more comments. It's like every week we get more comments. And Hater and I actually, Hater used his veto power on one, so we have some good ones this time. But I want to start with this one because this was actually really funny from our conversation last week. So Isaiah Jars says, I played a Smoke Goro on Combat League and got absolutely washed. I think this team is very slept on, and also Goro should be A tier. P.S. You guys were both referencing I Think You Should Leave in the beginning, but we're referencing different seasons of the show. That's so funny. That is so
neither
funny.
of us knew.
I know, like it's just
like I can just imagine the people screaming like, "You idiots!" Oh my god!
People that know the
it's
show.
the same thing.
Just a couple of old dudes ranting. That's so funny. I went through to try and find what season that episode you were referencing in was, and I found it, and that was actually very funny. So I'm glad that I did that. So
was it the first season?
I think it was the second one.
Oh.
So it's interesting.
I don't know why I started there. That was the first episode I ever saw. Someone recommended it to me, and I was like, this is so chaotic that I don't know how I feel about it. Like, it took me like a day to process what was like even happening. I was like, nah, that's like just such chaotic energy. Like,
I remember
I get the appeal, but not quite my thing.
I remember seeing just the memes of like the clips from the show all over the place, and I'm like, where's this from? And then somebody told me, and I watched it, and I was like, this is comedy gold. I love this. So, but to the point of Smoke Goro, I don't remember ever seeing that team around. I mean, I'm not sure if you've run into any in your travels, but that'd be interesting to see. I guess you maybe get some interesting combos off the teleports, maybe. But a lot of people
maybe, or it's just like reinforcing all your gaps with, plus on block up punch, or I don't know if he gets any mix off of the throw or anything special like that. But a certain Sub-Zero player counted all of the Kameo usages in that weekend for the pro competition, where we had both NA East and NA West like back to back,
right?
And Chameleon was obviously number one, like by far and away, and the next most popular, Goro.
Yeah, that's funny because reading all the comments,
B tier Kameo.
Yeah,
come on, Dink.
But you said Striker was going to be the hot take for me from that whole thing, and it ended up being Goro, which
yeah, that's true.
So maybe I retract my statement. The people have spoken. I'm a Dink of the people. I'll move him up to the A tier. I don't think he's S tier though. I don't think he's on the same level as Chameleon or Janet.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
I have been convinced that he's an A tier Kameo. So thank you.
Even if it's a little samey, you only use him for one thing. That thing is like so good. That's kind of like all you need in addition to some characters depending on your game plan. But you see him with everybody. It's not just Kung Lao and Tanya getting armored launchers. You'd almost always see those two characters are really early on Ashra Goro before they started moving on to other cameos.
Right.
But
right.
you see him everywhere now. You see him with Johnny, and we're talking about Smoke here in the comments, and Melina Goro is a thing.
Really? Oh yeah, I guess so. That's what Violets plays.
Violets I've seen use Goro. I feel like every time I see Violets on stream, like at an offline tournament or something, it's Goro. But maybe I'm not paying I'm not paying close enough attention.
No, I don't think I've seen them ever switch off that. I played them in Combat League once, and that's what they used against me. So, and it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary stuff. So, leading off of that, just kind of on a side note here, we got Rooster666 who says you can combo into Goro's crouch grab from nearly any mid move. I use it all the time. So this would be like a mix up of like mid low, right? Because Goro's crouch his grab only grabs ducking opponents, if I remember correctly.
Well, he's saying it's just a combo, right? Is that like a hit confirmed to the grab, using it as a combo starter and not as a mix?
I actually don't know how that cameo works on hit, to be honest. Like I don't know if that move.
That's how I understood the comment. Is that is like you don't need to, use it, because I think that's what we were talking about, is use it as an overhead, since it throws crouchers. You use it in place of like an overhead for like a low sort of mix. And I understood this to say it's like you don't need to use it that way. You can just hit confirm into it for a combo.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to look into that. To be honest, Goro is not a cameo I've been very excited to try at all. So he's just, I don't know. Goro's cool, I guess, but he's just, I don't know. Just a little bland.
Too much downtime. I wouldn't mind using him at all. It's just too much downtime. Not my particular flavor.
Yeah, cooldowns are just not my jam. So thanks for that comments. Appreciate that. Next one is a little bit of a longer one. Super Metal Meltdown. When it comes to character choice, I think liking what you play helps a lot. In MK11, wound up maining Frost and retired. Where are we going? I enjoy Scorpion for all the meterless confirms. I do considerably less damage than most Ashras I see, but I have excess bars for armors. Assume Mavado fills a similar niche and might be even better, but sadly I haven't been able to afford the combat pack just yet. So
he's really good with Ashra. Oh man. There's some nasty Ashra Mavado stuff. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
No, I mean, to your point, I haven't. I'm still not seeing a lot of Mavado. Like, it's like maybe.
I just watched your Combat League matches that you just posted on YouTube, and you fought that Ashra versus Mavado, and she was effing you up. She does the astral projection. If that hits you, she can combo into the Mavado ambush, and big combos. No more simple combos for Ashra. I guess Scorpion kind of gives her combos and stuff too, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's the only Ashra Mavado I fought, to be honest. And I'm still not 100% sure what's going on with Mavado. Like I know he has all the extenders. I'm still figuring him out. He's actually on my list because he's actually legal at Combo Breaker, which is very weird because he was the only character so far in the combat pack who didn't have like a pre-release schedule, Apparently he is just out for everybody. So they didn't have that
on the same day.
So that was kind of interesting.
And it kind of threw people off. There's a lot of mixed signals.
Yeah, like Mr. Aqua tweeted out like, yeah, he's going to be legal at Combo Breaker, and everyone's like, oh, really? Wait, what?
Well, that's like a couple days after there was confirmation that he would not be legal because he would not have been out to the general public past the pre-release 1 week window that you get for pre-ordering or whatever, buying the whole combat pack or whatever the deal is. But like you were saying, I guess they don't do that with cameos, or they just didn't do that with him. But either way, he was out at the same time for everybody, so he is past his 2 week window, so he will be legal.
Yeah, I for some reason thought that they had, and someone will correct me in the comments, that they did have like a pre-release for Janet and Tremor, but maybe I'm misremembering. I barely remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, so who knows?
Or you barely remember playing that Ashra Mavado that I had to remind you of, that you like uploaded like a day ago.
Like literally a day ago. That's
I've never seen that, and there's like evidence.
There's this physical video evidence.
You have seen it
and experienced it full. So okay, so speaking a little bit of Tremor, we got this next comment here. As plays 3563. I feel like a good buff for Tremor would be to have it that switching variations reduces cooldowns on summons. So for example, say you use Rock Punch to keep yourself safe, and normally it takes 10 seconds to come back. Just making hypothetical. If instead you Rock Punch, immediately switch variations, it recharges in 5 seconds instead. I think this would encourage people to use his summons more and also utilize all of his variations, rather than just switching to set up for the next ambush all the time. I actually think that's not a bad idea, and it's a good way to really diversify his moveset. Because yeah, like as it stands right now, he's just a aftershock punch. We're talking about this last week on Tremor, Remember that? You remember that set up to Tremor
right,
there?
Yeah, I did. I do remember that. Upon so we had this conversation last week, and so how it usually goes is that we talk and then you edit and you upload, but that happens like past my bedtime, and then I'll check it out like the next morning. I wanted to see how atrocious that whole messing up the alphabet thing was. And so I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. But as I was like writing out, and then it ended with tremor, you know, the letter T, I know the alphabet comes
There you
right
go.
after the S part.
Nailed it.
And I just started like thinking to myself, so my first big break from this game was not very long after Omni-Man came out. So that was before Tremor came out. And then I didn't really play the game again until like a couple weeks after Quan Chi came out. So
Right.
at that time, I decided to check out Tremor, but he was the first DLC cameo, and we didn't have a second one yet to compare anything to, or to kind of see how they were like. We can kind of see the patterns now that there's like 4 of them, right? Soon to be a 5th, and stuff. So I wasn't really sure how to approach it, and I'd seen a couple of the things, and it was like man, everything's like 60 frame startup, and you know, I did like a couple of things, and I was like kind of like thought to myself is like, I'm not sure he gives me anything that more than like what I'm.
All right, a little stretch here. Guess I should revisit some old strats if I'm going to be making my return soon here. So let's go through here. Old Dark Dink still got it. I'm sure I'll go to Gorilla City. Alright, and I guess to practice we'll go to set the AI on the hardest difficulty here. Alright, let's see what we got. Nobody blocks it. Nobody blocks it. Nobody blocks it. I let him block it. What an idiot. Nobody blocks it. Nobody blocks it. Nobody blocks it. That doesn't count. He had trait. It doesn't count. That is me. Oh, that's delicious. Wait, what the f? Alright, so that's it. Thanks everyone for the comments, as always, every week. I try and read every single one. We only can feature a certain amount just for time, so I appreciate everyone kind of throwing that in there. But leading on to that, we have sworn to keep ourselves checked in with each other on our Combat League findings. I'm just excited, honestly, that Hater's back in Combat League, so it makes me very happy to see him progressing through there. So how's things been going? Last I heard, I think you've made it to Grandmaster last week.
Yeah, and that's where I still am. I've only played like literally one set. I feel like I spent most of my time this week. I didn't have a whole lot of time to play this week, and the time that I did have, I spent trying to, like in practice mode, just experimenting with some new cameos, and then also trying to apply cameos I like to other characters, trying to implement the same game plan. So the cameos, the static factor, right? Like, you know,
I saw
like
that
you've mentioned before, making a cameo, not a character. The character is supplemental, but the game plan comes from the cameo.
Yeah, exactly. You know, building different characters under one cameo kind of a thing, and I'm not sure how many people I see doing that. There's not a whole lot of character switching and stuff that I see. I mean, in Combat League, you literally can't. So I mean in like tournaments and stuff.
Right.
I don't see people switching
or just
whole
like
sparings.
knowing. So my whole idea was like, okay, so what is it that I like so much about Sector? I feel like something finally clicked. Like I started playing a part of the game that I wasn't before, and reaping the benefits. And I feel like I'm learning a bunch of stuff, and it has me paying attention to other sorts of things. But what can I do? It's just that missile, right? With the same timing and the way that Melina can kind of turn that into an overhead blow, throw, kind of 3-way mix, if set up correctly. So can't I just take that exact same strategy and transplant it to another character? And so I tried it with Ashra, and I found all sorts of stuff. The thing is, I don't know really how to like play her. I don't know. Right. It's like so much to like think about just playing a character that you're not familiar with, let alone trying to implement any sort of game plan that's not like super basic and stuff. I'm not one of those people that can just kind of pick up a character and go. I don't know how people play so many characters, or even just like more than one. I feel like I can barely play like one character and 1.5 cameos, you know?
Right. No, I know what you
Um,
mean. Even trying to, I was just messing around with Shujinkydink again, and even that just in certain scenarios just feels unnatural. I want to do Quan Chi things, but I'm Shang, and then I end up killing myself because I'm like, oh yeah, that's not safe.
right, and I don't know. I'll probably play some tomorrow. I am gonna try to get like to at least demigod probably before the season ends. Just as just to see, you know. Uh, anyway,
No,
what about you from
um,
last week? We heard about all the drama, all the drifting between God and demigod.
yeah, the 4 times I made it to God status, but since then I've built up a buffer, so I'm still not to Elder God yet. Hopefully I can make it there this week. I'll be playing more sets than actually doing Combat League, but I'm still going to be in there. But yeah, I'm about mid high of God tier right now, and things have been feeling good. I've been focusing on tightening up my gameplay and just trying to work on my neutral a bit more, and I'm seeing it pay off um, in big ways that I wasn't seeing it before. Kenshi has become a problem for me though. I'm seeing way more Kenshi at this higher tier, and that's kind of a tough one for me because I'm already slow to begin with, and then he has these big long block strings. It feels like you're blocking forever, and then you're guessing between low and overhead. And I do have kind of a bit of an out in my armor portal, but I have to get that out before he starts, so I can get my armor to get to like steal my turn back. But it's tough because usually if I'm just throwing it out on a read and being like, okay, come get me, kind of a thing, and they don't always do that. So there goes a barometer. So it's been
Right.
tough.
How representative would you say that that is of like the skill ceiling for a character that you only start to like really see them like in the god tier? Do you think that is a skill gap sort of thing? I noticed that like when I first started playing, so apprentice combatant. I saw like a lot more like reptile and stuff, and now just nothing. Then I expect to run into reptile again once I get up to like demigod and things like that, probably. But that bubble in the middle, it's like if it was a graph, it'd be one of those donut graphs, right? The big vacuum in the middle,
Right. Yeah.
like where the middle class is in American capitalism. The
Yeah.
big black
Yeah,
hole in the middle.
exactly. Yeah,
Um,
exactly. So, but
so
yeah,
do you feel because Ashra is kind of the same, right? You don't really see her up until those higher ones at all.
yeah, there's definitely like you see you see them in a different sense, like Ashra's in the lower tiers I find are just teleporting around more, doing their overheads, like raw overheads into things, whereas you see more reads and reactions and downloading from Ashras, and that's not just Ashra, just the character that you mentioned, but just in general, uh, but you also start to see more meta teams as opposed to like a little bit more repetition kind of stuff. One that's kind of interesting to me since some cameo changes was Raiden. I'm seeing a lot of Raiden, but I'm seeing a lot of cameo variety with him, which is kind of nice to see. And I'm still seeing the odd Raiden Kano, which isn't quite as scary as it used to be. But it is kind of cool. It actually makes me excited to play against the character again. That was the one matchup I was very vocal. I just thought was really boring. And now it's seeing with other cameos, like, okay, like this character's still good, and he's just fun to fight against because something different.
I feel like this week, not in Combat League, but like watching streams, watching other people play Combat League or watching competitive stuff or exhibitions and stuff. I feel like I've seen Raiden Sonya, Raiden Jax, Raiden Movado,
Yeah,
Raiden Chameleon. Now that you mentioned it, I mean, Kano had to have been in there somewhere. I mean, he just had to be,
yeah,
right?
to be.
But
He's still
anyway,
sleeping.
like all sorts of variety.
Yeah, so it's fresh to see a character that I went, and that's exactly what I was hoping to see. I didn't want them to absolutely diminish the character to nothing. I still want the people to enjoy the character, to play the character and have success with the character, but I want it to just be a little bit more exciting and a little bit more, like, ah, dang, they got me. Not like, okay, well, here's a whole bunch of ship damage and a whole block into whatever. So it's just
Right.
something that's a little bit more refreshing. You know.
Any other interesting teams you see this week?
Um, I still don't run into Shujinko because I have that in my mind, and even though he's been buffed a lot, I still don't see anyone using him. I don't know if it's just the amount of time that he takes to work and master. I know you said teams I've seen, but this is just something I've observed. Like literally, I don't think I've seen a single one outside of myself. Maybe I've been counterpicked with Shujinko once or twice because people are like, "Oh yeah, he steals the Bone Dome," but not to an extent of someone that's actually maining that Kameo.
Right, right. And you're probably seeing him less as the DLC cameos become more as more release, right? It's going to dilute that pool a little bit more. And with Janet and Chameleon, right? I'm just trying to think of people that I saw who I've seen use Shujinko, which would be like Honeybee and Ketchup, and I haven't seen Ketchup use Shujinko in a long time.
Yeah.
Honeybee I usually see. I feel like I mention this every week, but it's just so I love watching his reptile with his Janet, just the wall stuff. I just never see
cool.
Janet wall, and if people are screaming at me saying that you see it all the time, like who's doing it? Because I want to watch it. I love it when all that. I think it's just so funny. It's like when Quan Chi puts up his EX portal that pushes them away, and people still flailing their limbs, right, trying to get through,
trying to jump
like
through,
everything's dialed
through.
or the strings already dialed in. There's nothing they can do, and
yep,
yeah, it's funny.
It's pretty entertaining. So
retro Janet with Katana using Janet's wall as counter zoning, so she's just absorbing their projectiles while Katana's just freely zoning.
That's so obnoxious. So I mean, I guess I could just sky drop, but yeah. Last time I played retro, he was playing Katana Jax still, but I've seen him posting a lot of content with Katana Janet. So like, the sauce is there. The sauce is definitely there.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of leveling out my game and stuff, there's an event happening this weekend coming up called Combo Breaker.
Never heard of it.
Well, you're in luck because I'm going to tell you about it. It's basically the Evo for Mortal Kombat games. At least that's how it's always been treated, because it's right in NRS's backyard. So generally you'll see Boone and the crew out. They'll come and watch at least the finals, and Tyler Lansdowne, and I think
the traditional release cycles, the games usually release in the spring, right before, and Combo Breaker is always Memorial Day weekend, so it's usually the first major of a new Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually
the first big one. So, and it's always nice for me because it's always where the most people tend to go to. So it's in this day and age, I'm not out here trying to win tournaments and stuff anymore. I want to do well, but I also just want to see my friends, a couple times a year. So this is one of the events that I try and make it out to if I can. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's next weekend, which means there will be no podcast next week because Dink will be in Illinois.
We will be missing our first official week. We had a good 5-week run of every Saturday, but next week will be a no-go. But we'll have quite the episode the following weekend because we're going to be recapping stuff and highlights and tournament experience.
And we didn't even talk about this before, but I'm going to put you on the spot. If you're on stream, we're going to do a match analysis during the next episode.
Oh, okay. I can't wait to watch that.
So let's take a look at your bracket. Like with that in mind, right? Let's see what some of those matchups might be if you're familiar with any of these players. There's a couple familiar names. You're in pool.
I'm in pool
G111, right?
G111, and I'll link this in the chat if anybody else wants to kind of follow along with me, because I know that might be a little bit small on the screen here. But yeah, this is my bracket here. So I have at the top of the bracket we have Gur, who plays Gearus, and then some other notable names: Big Daddy G playing that Smoke. I'm pretty sure. This is all like this. They could have switched characters. There's very possible. That's the one thing about tournaments is you just never 100% know what to expect. You can have a good idea, but maybe someone's got a pocket since last time you've played them, right, or something like that.
Well, who's your least favorite matchup? I'm not talking about like it's a 7-3 or it's a whatever, just the one that mentally taxes you and you just don't like it. Not a fun matchup, even if you know how to deal with it.
I would say Smoke and Peacemaker. Smoke is bad because it's just a bad matchup for Quan, And Peacemaker is just so annoying and trolly. It's like, oh, it just tilts me. So every time I get hit by a random torpedo, it's like, why? Why would you do that there? Why? I don't understand.
Okay, because nobody's taking notes for Big Daddy G. What do you think? What makes that matchup so hard? Do you think?
I think it's just
Smoke Quan.
Yeah, how slow Quan Chi is. He can't really take advantage of Smoke's gaps and stuff in strings and whatnot, like other characters can. So he's I don't know. It's just quite annoying. It's hard for him to find a turn, and without like a really solid mid that leads to much, it's hard for him to really challenge meaningfully. He has to make a read with a high, and of course Smoke can poke through, and if he hits a poke, then boom, back to more.
How fast is back 3?
16 frames.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
And then forward 2 is 14 frames, which is still fairly slow, but you got forward 2-1, it's gonna hit him away. And then, you can forward 2 and try hit confirm into something, but that's a little on the risky side. It's not
14's
impossible.
Definitely getting into like the slower mids. Like Molina's is a 13, like Ermax is 14, Quan's is 14.
Right. And I believe Shang's
his like mid that he doesn't get reward from, right? That's his like get away from me mid. His enforcing space mid, not as I'm gonna combo you like.
Yeah, and then Smoke doesn't really care about pushing him away. He's going to find his way back to Quan no matter what you do, and throw a projectile and reaction teleport. There you go, you're in. Boom. So it's kind of tricky. I do have to remember to use more armor portal. Just throw it up on the screen, just so it's something for them to think about. And if I do get in a combo, maybe use it as my 1-bar breaker kind of idea. That's
yeah, you can at least follow them around, right? And then all you need is that one moment, and then go like, "What the fuck? He could do that!" And then they drop their combo, and then there we go. You won.
Party time. Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
Get that damage. And that's another thing that sucks against Smoke is he just out damages me big time. So I have to hit him way more times than he has to hit me, and I can't zone because of his mobility. I still think it's one of Quan's worst matchups. It's not as bad since Quan got some changes, but it's definitely a struggle for at least my pairing of Quan Jinko. So. But he's on the other side of the bracket of me, so unless we both end up in losers, I shouldn't have to deal with him too soon.
But Gur, you could run into in winners semis.
I could
make it to the winners finals of your pool, and lately I've been seeing him play Gyrus Motaro. So he is a 900 health character, but Motaro is nasty. Like
he is nasty.
There is some crazy synergy with Gyrus and Motaro, and Gur is Gur. Man.
Yeah. So
I almost hope you get sent to losers before you have a chance to run into that, and then you can make your run from losers. It'll just save you from that pain. No, I believe. I think you could give him a run for his money because Gyrus's neutral is not great. Like,
yeah,
he's got to take risks to try to get in. If you can get your zoning game and keep him pinned down and punishing him for trying to do raw clocks, I don't expect a lot of those moments from Gur.
Right.
I expect very clean gameplay and stuff, but I definitely believe that you could be the one making out of your pool on winners finals or facing. That's where you'll face Big Daddy G is in winners finals of your pool. Well, who else is in the bracket? Is there any other names who does Saki play in this game?
That I'm not sure of. I want to say Katana for some reason, but I'm not sure. I've only seen her commentate. I don't know who she actually plays.
Same.
Dark Green 40, I'm pretty sure is a Shang player. I'm not really too concerned about that matchup. It's
Magic Snack sounds familiar, but I can't quite pin it.
Yeah, and that's what I don't like about tournaments is like I would rather fight somebody that I know and I know what to expect. Like I don't know who my first opponent is. I have no idea who they're gonna play. They might not know who I am either. You never know. Or maybe they do, and they have the whole download on me.
You
and
have 3 letters in front of your handle. He better know what your name is.
I got those magic letters, but yeah, I mean, and that's why you just got to kind of broadly prepare as much as you can for your events. Make sure you're comfortable in all the matchups, and you cover your gaps before you go in, just so that you're ready for anything. But again, there's just so many combinations in this game that it's like, man, maybe he pulls out freaking Reptile Darius or something like that, and I'm just like, what am I supposed to do here? Nobody plays this, so
You got to use your instincts. You got to kill him before he kills you in those situations. You mix and pray. That's what you do.
Mix and pray.
That's what I was told.
The old.
That's what I was told with a straight face.
With a straight face.
But it makes sense.
It does.
I think people overestimate the kind of brain power that goes into this sometimes. A lot of it's good instincts and muscle memory, repetition to where your body's just doing it without I'm getting like to the point to where I'm starting to standing one anti-air without even like thinking about it. The button just kind of comes out, and now I just have to worry about finishing it.
Nice.
You know,
yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Those types of things.
And as you free up your brain from having to worry about stuff like that, it now it's not as saturated, so it can absorb new stuff.
It's true.
What other? Have you gone through the rest of these pools? Do you know who is who? Oh, there's Violet. Violet's is in G101.
So I figured maybe we could just start from C101 and just kind of briefly go through who's all in which, and just because there's some storylines I think could be exciting here.
Okay. This might be a long one. We might have to.
No,
get it moving.
Yeah, we'll power through here.
It's a lot of pools. All right.
So we've talked about one already. So in this one we have Mike Liu, who is the top seed. And then we have Bandanoz. I've seen this person play. They've been winning some online events and stuff, so I'm excited to kind of see them play. Coach Steve is in this bracket. Bandanoz.
Oh, Bandanoz. That's from the Oni
the
team.
Oni team.
That's Hourglass of Rain's team.
That's an interesting. He's very good. Dat Boy, I have played a lot in. I seem to get matched up with him first in the Shiroryu Sundays for some reason. I think I played 3 times, and he plays Reiko. So it'd be interesting to see how he does. And then Wits FGC is another one that's really good. And
how do you feel about that Reiko matchup?
I mean, I got Shujinkydink. I'm fine.
Right, but you're not afraid of him like otherwise?
Not really. Like,
you don't really see Reiko as a threat?
I'm a better zoner. I have tick grabs. I'm not concerned about Reiko at all. I mean, a good Reiko can still win. Like, I'm not saying it's an 10-0 or anything like that. I think
it's not guaranteed, but it's not. You don't feel like you're having to work harder than him.
No, I played Rewind in Kombat League. Played his Reiko and did quite well as far as I was concerned against that quality of player. So I'm not too concerned about that matchup.
Okay.
But let's move on here. C111. Who's in this one here? Still loading up for
Wait,
me.
did you talk about Coach Steve? He's in this other bracket too. This 101.
I haven't seen Coach Steve really play this game much, so I'm not really sure.
I haven't either. I have no idea who he plays.
I think at ECT he was playing Raid. No, Shao, I think. General Shao.
Oh, that seems like a Coach Steve character. Yeah,
so who knows if he still plays that character or not. But I mean, you can never count out Coach Steve. He's a solid player all around. One of the OGs, one of the homies.
Yep.
So in this one we have Video Games Yo, which is super interesting. At ECT he used Shang Tsung and a little bit of General Shao, but I think he's gone more to the Shao side of things nowadays. I'm not sure about cameos and all that kind of stuff.
I'm not sure either. As far as cameo choice, I would expect Shao.
This is kind of a beefy bracket. Like, so
I was just kind of thinking that. Like, we going through a couple. There's a couple more names in here. Yeah,
we got Burrito Voorhees, who Garrus plays actually like the whole cast, but I think
who knows Garrus, who else he'll play.
You just can never count him out, and he's one person that'll be 100% ready for whatever you throw at him. Doesn't matter what he'll be ready. He's a lab rat that way. ELG Mari, fantastic player. Can't remember exactly who they play at this point in time. There's so many players in this game, man. It's crazy. Too Easy just play. I don't know if Too Easy will be playing Ermac. I know that was his MKX main, but I don't know if he'll be playing Ermac in this game. If I were to guess, I would say yes. But I have yet to confirm that.
Who else have you seen Too Easy play in this game?
Who was he playing at ECT? Oh man, I remember I was talking to him at ECT and he was talking about playing top tier, but I don't remember. Those days that was like 6 months ago, man. I don't even remember.
Right.
And then Ghost. Ghost is a really good player too. Another that plays multiple characters in this game. I can't remember again what characters he plays, but I know that he's good. So like this whole side of the bracket is kind of crazy. Dark Jack, I know that name, but I'm not really sure why. But yeah, that's
So if Video Games Yo and Burrito Voorhees both win their first two games, actually, yeah, their first two games, then they face off in semifinals.
so that would be the winner to get out of pools.
Yep. So someone's going to losers in pools. That's that's going to be an upset match, I feel like.
Yeah, that I mean, Video Games Yo, obviously the top seed in this pool. As anyone that's on the top, if you're not familiar, that's the top seed, and then you see halfway down somebody gets a bye, and that's the second seed of the pool. So it's projected for Video Games Yo to get out of this in winners, but Burrito Voorhees could be there to play spoiler. So who knows? And that's another interesting thing that I think Ketchup was talking about the other day too. Is like the kind of tiers and like the characters that you see kind of in the West, like in North America, are a lot different than what's going on in Europe and stuff like that. Yep. There's a little bit of crossover, but they are largely different. So it'll be somebody from there could run into something that over here that they haven't seen, or vice versa, kind of a thing.
Dude, like every League of Latina, and they've got their own teams, their own meta. Do you remember the very first one, like from MK11, the first one that they broadcast, and it's like, they're not even playing the same game as us. Holy crap, what is all of this? Right? Like, that's so crazy. I love it. It's like just sharing of the information, and it's crazy. And every game sees that. You hear about all the time. NA Street Fighter versus EU Street Fighter versus Japan Street Fighter, and Korean Tekken, Japanese Tekken, NA Tekken, and character preference and play style, and even like mindset. So it will be really interesting to kind of see worlds collide.
Worlds collide. I love that. All right, let's move along here so we don't drag this out too long here. We got C121, Ninja Killer. Dun dun dun. Favorite probably to win the whole thing, I would say.
Yeah. Definitely top 8. Anything less than top 8, maybe even higher, I feel like would be an upset, like as far as expectations are concerned.
Yeah, I agree. CR Sparks coming in the second seed, also a really, really strong player. Fun fact, Juan Wick, I think, was the guy who eliminated me at ECT. Playing Sub-Zero Serena, I think, at the time. So he's pretty good.
And it's Sparks is a Tanya, I believe. Plays multiple characters, but I think main's Tanya.
Tanya Goro, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You got a Hayate. I don't know if that's the Hayate.
Hayate.
Really, they're not seeded at all, so that's kind of... But I mean, I don't think he's competed in this game yet. Outside of maybe online.
It's kind of a common term and stuff. Is he traveling for this? Do we even know? I feel like he would have something else in his handle here. I don't know.
And other than that, I don't. J-Kun Prime, content creator. I'm not sure how seriously he's taking this game.
Oh yeah, Alex Dubé. That's him, right?
Yeah.
Montreal. So that's him.
Okay, interesting. That'll be interesting to see what he goes here. I think that's really all I have to say for that pool. C131. Ooh, Dexy Dog. I think this is their
another Molina
offline debut, I believe.
I'm not sure, but just rampaging people online. One of the wildest and most threatening Molinas running around online right now.
Yeah, it looks like they're top seed of this pool too. So these could change, by the way. This is like day one thing. I probably won't unless it's like two teammates fighting each other kind of thing, but they're pretty good at seeding these things. You got Black Jesus. He's really good. Hosts the high definition gaming events, I think, and the Shiro Ryu Sundays. Semi-Evil Ryu, OG from the MK9 days. I love this guy.
Did Thunder 1818 put his old Discord name with his number or whatever in there? You know how they forced everyone on the tags?
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
He did that.
That's funny.
Did that to meme.
That's a good meme. That is
I
clever.
think Dexy also won pro competition here recently. They definitely have pro comp points. I don't think guaranteed for Final Combat, but
Right. Well, this event does give you points for that, so that could push them into contention depending on how they do there. So, Ludi, of course, Sindel Sub-Zero, I think is what Ludi's rocking, as far as I know.
I think Ludi is a very, very good Sindel.
One of the top Sindels, I'd say for sure.
Yep, putting in the work, sharing the tech.
And I'm not really recognizing any other big names. Apologies if you're listening to this and I'm just completely going over your name. I'm not doing that on purpose. I just don't recognize it. Pool E101. Moving on to that. Who we got here?
Scorpion Prox.
So so I haven't got through all
just
the pools
everybody
yet,
else in this bracket. I'm so sorry. Who else is in here? Any names?
Forever.
Oh, Forever King's
Forever
in here.
King.
Nips.
Jersey Man. Lord T-Rex is good. But so this is what the storyline I was so excited for, is because this is the first time that we have Ninja Killa and I'm assuming the twins in the same MK1 event. Like, this is the first time that they're meeting together. And of course, twins have been doing work down in South America there, but we'll see how they stack up because they were so dominant at the end of MK11. Like, yeah, it was, it'll be interesting to see if they keep up that same pacing.
Right. And I think that it would be an upset if Scorpion Prox and or his brother both did not make top 8 or higher. That's another like kind of expectation.
Yep.
The way that things were shaping up in late MK11 and what we've seen like so far, I just think that that's just like where the expectations are. Right at large, like the team that you expect to win, like what the Vegas odds are.
Yeah, 100%. That would be a huge upset if that were the case. So, okay, E111. And this one we have, at the top is Pulse. And then we have Lankiness. Rattlehead. It'd be fun to see Rattlehead. Shoutouts.
Cool.
And
wait, where did you go? E111?
E111. I want to give I was going through these at work the other day, and I want to give a shout out to Leprosy because that is such a fun gamer tag. Like, man, I lost to Leprosy, you know?
Yep. I lost to Leprosy. I beat Leprosy. I 3-0'd Leprosy. Well, I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure.
Sounds
what that
good.
Good for you,
right.
I guess. So
yeah.
But yeah,
Deadly Kansas. Were they Collector in MK11?
Oh yeah, that's right. I don't know who they play in this
Deadly
game.
Rebel.
I think Deadly Rebel did play Collector as well. I could be getting confused for that same thing, but I'm not really sure.
All right.
Yeah, top tier Pulse in this one for sure. E121. Moving along here. A Foxy Grandpa. I'm wondering if he's actually making it over. He's entered a couple events and then just didn't end up showing up.
Yep. So he's registered, but I'm not even sure if he knows that he's decided yet.
Yeah. I mean, we've only seen him kind of compete over in Europe so far. We also got Wraith on here as well, who...
Akio?
Wraith is... Shang Tsung is really crazy. I've seen him do so many different setups and just so much cool stuff with Shang. You've never seen anybody else doing. Shang Goro, I believe, if I remember correctly. And actually was using like the unblockable Goro stomp in some setups. It was pretty sick.
Nice.
So
the Akio's also in here. I think they play Rain.
Okay, interesting.
Maybe. I think. Very good player, was like one of the premier Enchantress players in Injustice 2 and stuff. So I would man, who else is in here? Foxy.
Zesquill's good. Hruza de Bruza.
Do you know who J-Chan is in S Tier Gaming?
I'm familiar with the name. I'm not familiar with who they play in here or whatever.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's mentions in that one.
Next bracket is Sonic Fox.
So there we go. So there's Sonic Fox, Ninja Killa, and the twins. is like that's the big storyline in my opinion. It'll be interesting to see. I can't call it between those four. I don't. I think it's if I had to put some money on it, I bet it would be one of those four that won, but I couldn't say who. I wouldn't be able to put money on who. Who else is in
Yeah,
here?
and Sonic is no stranger to top 3 or second place, like either. It's not a guarantee like some people talk about.
It's
I
true.
expect them to be very, very good games. Like, and do you remember Season 1 Injustice 2 Grand Finals? And I can't remember which tournament, but Sonic broke out the Joker. And it was against Forever King. It was
Oh,
really early, right? And Forever King had no idea what was going on in the matchup, and that's like what Sonic like relied on was that whole thing. And then just doing Sonic things with the character, and it was just
it was fun to
kind of a
watch.
massacre, like a
Yep.
total just wild card back pocket. Like I expect almost something like that, like if things get drastic.
Yeah, we might see like a secret character or secret tech or something like that. I wonder if they'll go back to Rain because they were off Rain for a little bit, and now that Rain's got those changes, I wonder if they'll go back to Rain
Well, the very first
offline.
tournament, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
they won with Rain.
Sonic won
Cyrax.
with Rain.
So interesting to see there. Dialogue is in this bracket as well. Dialogue just fresh off his, I believe it's Texas Showdown that he won. General Shao.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, that's the Shao. Okay.
Yep.
Very, very good. I love that. Watching him play Shao makes me want to play Shao. Like I always go into practice mode with Shao for like 10 minutes every time I watch him play. He just makes it look so fun.
Yeah, and just the way his reads are amazing. His pressure's good. He knows exactly when to take the risks. So it'll be interesting to see how far Dialogue goes.
Yep.
Pool G 101. Rewinds. Man, all these names all in one event. This is gonna be so crazy to watch. I
know.
I can't wait. Yeah, Rewind at the top. Then we have Violets in that same pool. Furious Pillow, the competitor doppelganger.
Yeah.
Poseidon's in there. I don't know who Connor Tonight is, but I like that name. I'm not sure what that's referencing. Sounds like it could be like a talk show. Welcome back to Connor Tonight.
It sounds like a Nickelodeon teen drama.
Connor Tonight. July Salient did a lot for the Injustice 2 scene. Put together a lot of events and stuff. Don't know how they're playing in this game. Oh, Zentai. Another good player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Furious Pill, if you remember, made a name for themselves in MK11. I don't remember what tournament. Was that an ECT? Anyway, everyone was talking about how much Kotal Khan sucked, and he just came in and bought it. Who did he beat? Hayate, I think, in pool.
Yeah,
Sent Hayate to losers with Kotal Khan. And suddenly, and then he was on stream like 3 or 4 more times. Maybe that was CEO, I want to say. I don't remember.
That makes sense.
Anyway, kind of responsible for making people take that character a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, then I was like, wait a minute, maybe we should look at this.
It kind of came from out of nowhere. I mean, there was plenty of people that didn't think that he was bad and they played him and stuff, but he definitely was like the first showing.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so I think that's that bracket. G111 was my bracket, right? So we already went over that. Yep. So Pool G121. We're getting near the end here. So Killer Zynock.
Nice.
Top.
Nice.
And then El Kukui FGC. This is another one that's kind of stacked here. We got Cam is Black as well. Costner. Costner, man.
Oh,
This one is actually nuts. Best rating's good too.
Yeah, he'll tell you that as well. I mean, it's in his name.
It's true. Yeah, there's a little humility to that there. I couldn't call this one. Costner's Reptiles next level. I can't beat that thing. I don't know what he's doing.
Costner's an old school MK player too. Like he's been around a long time. He knows all the tricks from all the generations, all the games.
Everything. Pool G131. Waz. I hope Waz makes it out. That's a long way to go.
I think because Waz did not win the pro comp for Oceana. Yep.
That would make sense.
That's in Sindel. Man, I meant to I totally meant to look up the name last time. I couldn't remember it when we were having a conversation about it, and I didn't do that. So here I am again, not remembering the name.
So disrespectful.
I know. Well, you don't know either.
I do know, but I'm keeping it silent so that I look like better than you.
No, nobody believes that.
No, not a single soul believes that. We got Pierre on the other side. Alex is nasty. Reiko. Jer, of course. Can't count out Jer. Long John Cena is a name I see in almost every bracket, and I don't think I've ever run into them.
Long John Cena.
It's a great name.
Does that mean it's invisible? You're pretending you got a long dong, but no one can see it? Or
speaking of,
is it just, you know...
Speaking of long dongs, if you look up in winners round 1 in A, the first name we got there is Tug and Suck. So I was I was talking about this at
with a little Zeppy.
I was talking about this at work about how like one of the funnier things is like when you get like one of those super loud like tournament organizers and they're doing like the roll call and they're calling out all the names, and it kind of
fucking balls.
Right?
We're waiting on you.
We're waiting on you. And it just like feels like, you know, like I don't know if you get this reference, but like the Moe's Taverns jokes from the Simpsons in the 90s, like, you know, like Tug and Suck.
Looking for Seymour. Seymour's butts.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone, can I get a Tug and Suck? Is there a Tug and Suck here? You know. Yeah. Oh man, tournaments are so fun. Okay, let's not spend too much time on Tug and Suck there. That's what she said. Moving on to the eye pools now. We're down to the... So King Gambler top here, and then Denzel Terry, DJT second, and then we got Dragon in that pool too, and Kerbalicious.
Dragon's gonna show up. I think this pool looks so brutal.
This is a nuts pool.
So let's see. Because there's sleepers in here too. Because Euphemism's in here too, and
right.
He's a young Scotsman, I believe. Another very tech savvy. Does make the habit of traveling from time to time. I see him at NA tournaments. I feel like a couple times a year, once or twice a year since offline started.
Yeah, I'm pretty
again.
sure he was at
Even,
ECT.
Like,
so yeah,
and it's always like super tight, super crispy, right? I could totally. This is an upset in the making, this E part here. DJT also as well. I don't know if DJT's streaming much anymore.
I don't know. He is playing Johnny.
I haven't seen any DJT stuff. I don't know who they played in this game. Was obviously very strong in previous MK titles, and you know, very early MK11. His Baraka was like in every top 8.
DJT just the kind of guy to play just the most broke shit too. He doesn't care. He's just gonna play what'll get him the win.
Right. So, unapologetic.
Yep, exactly. Just be like, oh, play top tier, bro. You know. But yeah, this is an absolute death bracket. This is like the craziest bracket. Kerbalicious, King Gambler, Euphemism, DJT, Dragon, all in the same. And then
who does Kerbo play in this game?
That's a good. I think Liu Kang. I want to say Liu Kang.
Okay.
For some reason, but I don't want to. I don't. Kerbo was at ECT, I think. I don't remember seeing who they played though. Hercules is good. Yeah, I'm gonna be watching this bracket closely just to see what happens here because it's gonna be nuts. All right, we got 3 pools left. So, I111. Nicholas.
There's Nicolas.
Second. Yep. Perfect Legend. I have not seen Perfect Legend play this game. I would assume he's playing Lao Lao, but that's just my train of thought.
You think?
From knowing him, I'm pretty sure he's got to have been streaming or something. Maybe.
I have no idea.
It's not a content creator that I tend to hang around with too much. So it'll be interesting to see. This would be a tough bracket for him.
Yeah, I don't know much that's going on with Perfect Legend either. I have not seen Nicholas play this game yet. I don't know if I recognize anybody else in here.
Bacon Lord, I recognize.
Bacon Lord, yeah, old test your might veteran there.
Yep. And other than that, how do you go from such a stacked bracket in the last one to just this one? I don't recognize any of the names.
Crazy Chris. Man, this is going to be the most hype one now just because you said it. You're gonna
I know.
Get roasted.
I am going to get... Please roast me. Tell me how great you're going to do in this event. And I will come and shake your
Everybody
hand.
in here you say that you don't know, they're all Quam players and they're all better than you.
They all been watching me, and now they're all just going to leave in droves.
Yep.
Just like, how dare you? How dare you just turn your back on us? Okay. I-121. And waiting for it to load. Interesting. I thought Mike Liu was in the first bracket. Maybe there's some change in the time we've been recording this, but
No. Did we talk about Mike Liu before the recording? Maybe that's what you're remembering.
could be. Could be.
They did change something because we didn't talk. The very first bracket's got Euforing as the top seed.
Okay, all right. That's interesting. So they're making some changes. That's fine. What happened?
Okay, yeah. So because we haven't talked about Euforing yet, definitely weren't in there. So they are shuffling stuff around.
So that's okay. We're getting a rough idea of the roster and what to expect and that kind of a thing. This is the bracket with my homie competitor, friend of the channel, of course. We'll be out there rocking our STB gear. Hell yeah, brother.
Dude, did I mix up euphemism and Euforing? Now I'm like thinking to myself.
No, you didn't.
Man.
You didn't.
No?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
That would
Oh, man.
Joystick.
Very good, Lou. Like tearing it up online and stuff right now.
Super solid.
Joystick is everywhere.
Super solid.
The very mean Liu Kang.
Eternal Vanity. I've seen that name in top 8s for a lot of the Shiroryu Sunday events. So haven't really tuned into who they play. Xander is one who always takes the most gimmicky stuff. Like, super solid player, and will definitely test your knowledge on some weird stuff you probably have not seen. So I'm excited to see what Xander pulls out in this event. And then other than that, I don't...
Did you already shout out competitor here?
Yeah, the boy, Competito.
All right.
For some reason...
Dirty Johnny Cage player.
Yeah, Dirty Johnny. Dirty Johnny. Final pool here. I-131.
He looks a lot like that Kotal Khan player from MK11 that we were just talking about, too.
Oh, yeah. I think they got them mixed up on a stream once. That was...
that was pretty funny. Like the setup they did, it was almost like a Saturday Night Live sketch.
It was
right?
pretty funny.
Like it was all, he's all, hey, you're in my...
Get him off the stage. What the... Yeah, that was really well done. That was funny. And then the final one, we have the Mighty Unjust. Baylina. I've never...
Okay.
I don't think I've met her before. It'll be interesting.
No, Ragnarok.
Ragnarok, my boy. Playing Natara, I believe.
Hey, Woolender.
Woolender. I don't know if Woolender's a fellow Quan or not still. I know he was saying he was going to play somebody else, but that might have been before the changes. So, but I'll be watching Woolender play. He was playing Quan Sector before. I think he was saying he was going to go back to Sub-Zero. But who knows?
Quan Sub-Zero?
No.
Or just playing Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero,
like
yeah, like Sub-Chameleon, I think, kind of thing. So, I'm not sure, though. I could be wrong.
Is that who they were playing before Quan came out? Was Sub?
I believe so.
Man, I've got a lot of questions for you tonight.
Hell yeah, brother. You're
not
just
prepared for any of them.
Investigative journalism 101.
I know.
Or something like that.
I have to pay closer attention. I feel like I pay attention, but I obviously don't because I feel like I should know a lot more about what's going on here.
I see a lot of names. There's just, and I mean, that's a good thing to have, is there's a lot of names I'm just can't keep up on who's playing who, you know? Guamo-kun, probably playing Katana, if I had to guess. Fluffy, aka Chris, is a name similar to one that I mentioned before that I see in every bracket. I'm not really sure who they play, but just that name sticks out to me. Dynasty Gummy, are you familiar with this player?
No.
Second seed in this bracket. So
really,
yeah, I'm not really. Maybe I'm not paying attention, but the name's not familiar to me, so I'm not really sure what to expect there. But that's it. We went through every single pool, every single player, and then as we got to the end, we found they're shuffling it all around. So, I mean, the story is just the amount of players that are here, and just like, I think the big thing is the twins. You know, having the first one that they've met up with the kind of North American crew to see like who can topple who. You know, this is a different game since the last time they've all played. It'll be interesting to see who can come out on top.
And it's on NRS home turf. First combo breaker for MK1. There's a lot of sort of energy for this one, you know? This would be like a really good one. The stars have aligned, and a lot of really good people there. It's in the city where it all lives anyway.
Yep. A lot
You're
of
going.
storylines. I will be
And
there.
we're gonna analyze your stream matches. No pressure.
No pressure. I need to get to the stream first. So, but if you're there and you see me, come say hi. I'll be out there kissing hands and shaking babies, you know. So, I'll
Shaking babies.
I'll be approachable. Just I'll got my name on the back of my t-shirt.
Not with that kind of behavior. What? No.
All right. Well, that being said, I'm going to wrap this up because went a little bit longer than we usually do, and we tend to do that anyways. But yeah. So thanks everyone for listening. Appreciate all the feedback, all the comments. Let me know. Again, there won't be a podcast next week because I'll be at Combo Breaker. So I might do a.
But we'll be talking about the Combo Breaker experience the week after that.
We'll have a good show the week after that. So, and I guess this makes up for next week. This is an extra long one for this week. So you have a little bit of extra content to get you through. You could just go back and listen to this again and again, just to make up for not having one next week. So,
yeah.
All right, that's it for us. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like because it really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't because I make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks and all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Accept your death.